And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. And also, as well, Facebook, where we drop the latest news and notes that you need to know right about Pop Culture Cosmos. What's up, cool bro? Hope all is well. Happy holidays to you, and I guess a preempting or presumptuous happy new year and a prosperous new year to you and your entire family as well. Plus, also as well, we do the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers Fast Break covers the latest news and notes in the NBA. Go ahead and cover us there as well. And also Inside Sports Fantasy Football. We just dropped an episode covering what you need to take care of for your championship game. If you are in the championship game, please take a listen to Inside Sports Fantasy Football. The Lardiaries and Sean Christ stopped by to go ahead and give you the insight like no one else on the Inside Sports Fantasy Football. But go ahead and make sure you check us out each and every time out on all of our great radio stations and wherever you get your podcast for the Pop Culture Cosmos indeed. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. She is the Baldur's Gate queen of the Pop Culture Cosmos indeed. It is a good friend. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing today, along with her masterful husband, Robbie Ross, in Vampires and Vitae, and also Wild Beyond the Witchlight. It is, of course, Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you here. I truly appreciate you taking the time. We were going to schedule a long conversation about your best of pop culture, but something happened along the way that you got as a Christmas gift and as a Christmas game that you really can't stay far away from.
Yeah, I really was not, and I feel like I'm probably in the majority, but I was not anticipating enjoying Baldur's Gate as much as I'm enjoying it. And like I feel compelled to keep playing when I play the game.
So it sounds like that might appear on your best of.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance of that. I really didn't expect a video game to give me bigger feelings than Diablo 4 did, but well, I don't know. It's going to be a tight race for number one, I think, this year.
Well, we'll hear more of your thoughts next week when we go more into detail on your best of pop culture for 2023. Speaking of best of 2023, on the back half of the show, Dawn Fobbs, our TV expert, she comes in and talks about her best in television for 2023. So go ahead and check that out on the back end of the show. But the front part of the show, while we have her, because she's already starting to twitch, start to get the little tweaks going and whatnot. I
had to take a break to recharge the controller. So
yes, there you go. Withdrawals. She's going through withdrawals on Baldur's Gate 3. So while I have you here, I wanted to talk real quickly about some Christmas or holiday, as it were, surprises.
Yeah,
we talked about with you and also as well with Josh about some of the disappointments that happened in the box office and on television over the course of the past few weeks in regards to the tepid advance for Aquaman 2. Some of the Oscar hopefuls have not done really gangbuster as far as their overall attendance as well. But also, I wanted to mention Rebel Moon on Netflix. It has debuted. It has done big numbers as expected. Zack Snyder's ode to Star Wars, what have you. Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire. I saw it. Josh saw it. We're not going to trash it like many other places. It is a very pretty movie as far as the special effects are concerned.
It is stunning. Yeah.
Yes. What were your thoughts on it? I mean, it was the Magnificent Seven meets Star Wars, and it is very formulaic, but it's entertaining. I'll give it a pass at this time.
Yeah, I felt the same way about it. I was entertained while I watched it, and then you do the doom scroll and you start to see, well, okay, my friend that I tend to have really the same opinions on a bunch of stuff, they didn't like the movie. They didn't seem to enjoy it. So what did I see that I liked so much? I couldn't even tell you what I saw that I liked so much in the movie. There was just something about it that was very enjoyable, and that could really be really all that you need out of entertainment is simply to be entertained. Um, but I think that if you go into a sci-fi movie like that, and you're hoping for the big story with all of the big answers and all of the every I dotted and every T crossed, I feel like you're always going to be left a little bit disappointed. Sometimes the
Really
story.
formulaic, though. It's nothing like original that I was hoping to see. I mean, I want that big space epic
Right.
probably more than most people because Mass Effect is yet to appear on the screen.
Right.
So, and I will say that for the 980th time.
Now,
But I just think that when it comes to it, Rebel Moon was okay for what it was. It's popcorn entertainment. And that's
yeah, and and I say all the time, it's okay to enjoy that kind of a movie once in a while. I think that it's almost necessary as a bit of a palate cleanser to get you ready for the next biggest and greatest thing. Which, if you have not watched Blue Eye Samurai, it should be Blue Eye Samurai. I just want to put that out there before the end of the year. If you have nothing to do and you're not wearing pants and eating cheese, so
I'll just tell you though, I know it's been mentioned in our chat that's going on right now about the devastating losses that we've seen in Hollywood in the past 48 hours. Just very disappointing as far as want to go ahead and mention real quickly Tommy Smothers, who is a great part of the comedic world for decades. He
mhm.
passed away at 86. And also as well, the one of the great stars of Parasite, also unfortunately absolutely passed away. He passed away earlier on Tuesday, I believe he died. I think as far as he was found in his car, passed away. Unfortunately, it's just yes, Lee Sun Kyun. He was a star of Parasite. He unfortunately passed away as well. So devastating losses around this holiday time in regards to those two deaths. Just wanted to go ahead and make mention and honor them both. But getting back to some of the better news on Christmas, in regards to some of the holiday surprises, obviously Baldur's Gate 3 and a PlayStation 5 has been great for you. And Rebel
Yeah.
Moon, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
there's been some real great surprises so far this holiday season. I'm going to start off with The Color Purple. The Color Purple, the musical version, closer like the Broadway musical. I guess that basically it's the Broadway musical come to life, adapted from obviously the story and obviously the movie that came decades before it. But The Color Purple scored $18 million, one of the biggest Christmas Day openings ever in an industry, my friend, that is really reeling right now with a lot of Christmas and holiday disappointments. Your thoughts on The Color Purple doing so well at the box office?
I'm not surprised, really. I think that the movie tells a compelling story, and a compelling story is going to have people going to the theater to see it. I think that adding the musical and making it a little bit more like the Broadway show is was a great idea. I think that was smart. And yeah, it's one of those that'll be on my watch list, and I won't be surprised to see Oscars come out of it.
I will say though that Mean Girls, I think that cool Endorphin has a question on the Mean Girls remake, reboot, or something. I think there was a Mean Girls TV show after the success of Mean Girls, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me that it's going to happen. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. Hell, in about a couple weeks, do you realize one of the first movies that'll be released for 2024 is about a haunted pool?
A
So
haunted pool?
a haunted pool. Yes. I will give you the title of that, but yes, coming up here in a couple minutes. I'll DM you on it. But yes.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, if they can make a movie out of a haunted pool, they'll make a movie about anything.
Hey,
And
well,
they'll bring back anything at this point.
2023 brought us Cocaine Bear, so 2024 might as well bring us a haunted pool.
We discussed GTA 6 High Octane and GTA 6, something we're excited, but I don't want to really get too excited for it right now because it's not coming out until 2025. So I mean, it looks good for what it was, but then again, those trailers are not gameplay footage. So I want to see actual gameplay before we get really amped up for GTA 6. But my gosh, it's going to be the biggest selling game of the year when it comes out. No doubt about
Yeah,
it.
I don't think that that's much of a stretch, really.
Yeah, absolutely. What
Okay.
is the last movie that you actually found scary, Condor? From Condor. That's a good question. Want to say The Nun? Maybe a little bit. So it takes a little bit more for jump scares for me, but yeah, I'd probably say The Nun. I'd probably say The Nun for me. When you don't like horror movies,
Yeah,
so
no,
I don't even
I
think I
don't
want to approach it.
really. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
you're
really do
allergic to
horror.
them.
So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Horror movies don't get along so well. I have enough of an imagination. I don't need help with imagining terrible things hiding in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say for Cool Bro one would be what do I go? What do I go with? Yes, Domino Squad. Yes, Domino Squad. Yes, there you go. There you go. There you go for you, Cool Bro. All right, but it is the course of the pop culture cosmos. Some surprises that have taken place over the holiday season. I do want to go ahead and mention again. It's great performance by The Color Purple, the adaptation from the musical that has appeared on Broadway, plus of course also as well the previous movie and film, The Ties to Oprah Winfrey, and also as well the book as well. So yes, great success for that movie. It's great that you also see other movies that are finding an audience. And one of those movies, the movie that actually did get you back in the theater, was something I didn't even expect. What was it, Melinda?
I didn't expect it either. But no, Christmas, I think it was Christmas Eve. We went to see Wonka.
Okay.
It was actually the right vibe, I think, for Christmas Eve. It was wholesome, it was positive. It was, even when things are rough, they're gonna get turned around. It was all positive messaging and stuff. So it was probably the right tone to set, I think, for a holiday movie. Not that that's a holiday movie, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this on the Friday show. There are some ill-fitting movies this holiday season.
Yeah,
Yeah, that I don't understand why they came out and got released when they did in some
yeah.
cases. So I'm really concerned with the way that Hollywood just sometimes sends movies out to die like they did. And, for instance, right now, Wonka is now back on top at the box office. After the big start by The Color Purple, Wonka has now regained the daily as of like Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, when we're filming this on Wednesday, yesterday's box office had Wonka on top, Aquaman, The Color Purple, Migration, which is probably going to be a big loser for Universal because it's one of those Illumination movies from the Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
from the as far as Despicable Me, Minions. Those cost a ton of money to make, and so yeah, it's not going to end up doing well. The Boys in the Boat. I know that was mentioned in our chat. It is coming out to tepid reviews. The movie actually is placed fifth at the box office right now for Tuesday, so you never know what's going to happen with that. I'm still got to go ahead and check out the Iron Claw before we meet up again as far as the best of pop culture for 2023, and also as well what I have to talk about with my good friend Mr. John Orlando on his best of 2023 as well, and Godzilla minus one. I know a lot of people have asked me to go ahead and see that, and I definitely want to go ahead and see that as well because it's starting to appear along with The Boy and the Heron on a lot of top 20 lists. So that's a surprise.
That is a surprise.
Yes, a holiday surprise, Godzilla minus one, and The Boy and the Heron. Those two movies appearing on a lot of best of lists.
Hmm.
Make sure you're aware of that. And if you get a chance, go ahead and check those two out as well. Southern Comfort said, I assume the biggest box office hit of 2023 was Barbie. Yes, at this point. It's definitely not going to be Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not going to be absolutely as well. So, yes. Cool, bro. We will provide romantic advice, as probably only we can on
Oh
future
dear.
episodes of the Lakers Fast Break. Yes. On the pop culture causes, want to try and keep it straight and narrow on that. What's my most anticipated film for 2024, Sky Dweller? Melinda and I can both say that at the same time. Dune
Dude.
Part 2.
Two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
We were
Can't
so
wait.
disappointed. If you get a chance to go back on the archives and get a chance to see us, we were both just bummed beyond description when we heard that Warner Brothers, because of the strike, decided to go ahead and delay it from its release. I think in actually hindsight, it probably worked out better because all the movies around that time kind of did not do so well. So
Yeah.
in hindsight, it probably works out that way. Plus, now that it's on Netflix, Dune Part 1. It gives you, the viewer out there, if you've not seen it or need a refresher on it, I
Mhm.
highly recommend you catching it, Dune Part 1 as well.
But
Uh,
absolutely, if you are gonna do that, put the TV up a little bit too loud and watch it in the dark, like, turn all the lights off. So
oh, it's
you
such
kind
a
of
fantastic movie.
yeah, it really is, and it's one of those movies that you want to minimize all distractions around you because you are not gonna wanna take your eyeballs off of the screen. It's stunning to watch. It's beautiful.
I want to say though that there's some other great holiday surprises. And once again, it's Melinda Barkhouse Ross and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching this. I truly appreciate it. It's the PCC Multiverse. Before we head on out, my friend, and I turned it over to Don Fobbs on for those listening on audio and on radio. I want to go ahead and talk about some of the other surprises real quick of the holiday season. And I had mentioned a couple to you, but the biggest one, a show that got 13 million plus viewers in its first 6 days. It's got to be considered a hit for Disney. And we've talked about this. We've talked that Disney has needed a non Marvel Star Wars hit
Yeah.
for sustainability for their audience on Disney Plus. And they got one in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. You've seen Percy
Yeah,
Jackson. Your
I've been
thoughts
watching
on it,
it.
my friend?
I think it's very well done. I think that the kid is the right kid. There's something believable about him in the way that he's acting. I've enjoyed some of the silly stuff that's happened in the show because it is a show for kids, so you're going to get some of that kind of stuff. But that's been really enjoyable. The humor is good. It hits the right notes when it needs to, and I think that the show doesn't seem to shy away either from hitting you in the feels. And I think with Percy Jackson, the feelings part of it tries to, well, not tries to. I think it's what helps to ground, this idea that these kids are all demigods and half gods and and all of that stuff. So I think you need a bit of that tension break with the humor and stuff that you get.
Endorphin is asking, "What's our favorite Disney made-for-TV movie?" Let's not go Marvel or Star Wars because I could just rattle off some Marvel and Star Wars films as far as it's concerned.
Hmm.
We all know, if you've listened to the show quite a bit, what your Disney Plus favorite movie is. Your
Yeah.
go-to, your
Yeah,
comfort food.
there's a couple. There's two. That would be The Emperor's New Groove or Hercules. If I'm really sick, like if I'm really not feeling good, that's when Beauty and the Beast comes out, and that's when it's trouble time. Like I am not well if I'm watching Beauty and the Beast. But if I'm watching Hercules or The Emperor's New Groove, I'm probably going to get by all right. At least once a week I try to watch them. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing.
One of my out of the box movies that you need to see, especially
Yeah.
if they do end up making a third installment of it, is Tron Legacy.
I agree,
So,
actually. I do need to go back. I did just see the first one forever ago. I don't think I saw the second. I could be wrong.
okay. I'm supposed to tell you that you tried out to play Luke. I don't know when you played Luke, but I don't know what I forget. I remember you mentioned that you tried out to play Luke Skywalker once, as far as that's concerned, at some point in time, cool bro. As far as a young, very young Luke
Mm,
Skywalker, I guess. So that's good. I'm sorry you didn't get it, but glad to have you here anyways. I will tell you though, yes, Brink. Okay, absolutely. Thought that was a decent movie as well. I will say, Cool Bro is not liking Percy Jackson. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but again, the reviews are solid and good enough as far as for the audience. I think the audience wants something different, and besides Marvel and Star Wars, and they're getting that with Percy Jackson, my friend.
yeah, I think it's a break
Oh, Luke
from all that
Castellan.
content.
Oh, okay. Luke Castellan from that show. That's right. Okay. Okay. Sorry. When you say Luke, don't tell me
Wrong
Luke
Luke?
and you're a Star Wars fan. Yeah. He's a Star
Yeah.
Wars fan. He tells me just Luke, and I'm just like, oh, he's
Yeah.
just. So, so I guess again, Percy Jackson is going to be, after such a great opening, unless it falls and crashes hard, it looks like it's going to be sustaining a decent audience and getting something that now it could be another tentpole for Disney Plus. Lift. Nobody seems to be liking the Bob Marley movie. Sean didn't hasn't seen liked it, and also as well, also Lifted doesn't like it as well. So we'll see what happens with that movie in 2024. I will say though that a movie that I'm really thinking that is doing well again, like you said, is Wonka. Wonka is something that looks like it may break even. And in a time where so many big budgeted films are not doing well, Wonka breaking even could be a big win for, I think it's Warner Brothers that makes it. I think, let me go, I'll
Oh
check on that
goodness.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hang
I'll
on.
check.
I'm just trying to run through the beginning of the movie
Yeah,
in my brain,
yeah,
and
just
I can't remember.
I'll check it right now. So Wonka is going to be right here. I'm gonna go ahead and look at what we could be. Yeah, real quick. Yes, it
It's the
is. It is Warner Brothers. Yep.
eh,
Yep, yep, yep. So, yeah, it looks like a break even for Wonka will be something that is palatable because then their relationship with their own Max channel and then after that on Netflix will prove to be eh, like a positive for Wonka at that point as
sure,
well.
yeah, and I honestly, I think the film is going to do a little bit better than break even.
Okay, has
Yeah,
to
I
have
think it's
some
going to do a bit
legs
better than
in
that.
the new year. If it
Yeah.
does, then there you go, and I hope so. I hope so because we need more hit movies that are out there because we've had so many disappointments of the 2023 year. That to me is probably the biggest thing that stands out when I reflect back on 2023 in the movies is that there's been so many movies that thought hey, we're out of COVID, everything's okay, but unfortunately the audience has not come back as well as I had hoped and as well as you had hoped as well.
Yeah, I think the audiences are coming back. I think that they're just like me. They're just waiting for a specific movie, and it's going to be hard to even guess which one it's going to be because I wouldn't have thought of going to the theater for Willy Wonka, but I did, and I'm glad that I did experience it on the big screen. We went to the theater with the big lazy boys, so it was all kickback and all that kind of stuff. So it was an all around pretty novel experience because the the province that I live in, they and that may be changed by now, but I don't remember them having big recliners and all of that kind of stuff that you guys have down here. So fancy.
So fancy
So
indeed.
fancy.
But I'm glad you got a chance to see Wonka and
Mhm.
you're still formulating thoughts on it, but it doesn't seem to like, ticked you off any, but it seems, that you were able to go ahead and tolerate it for a 2 hour stretch.
Yeah, I'm certainly not, mad about the movie. There was nothing in it that was upsetting to me or, truly, something to be mad about in the movie going experience for that one. I think that, everything was done really well in the movie. Um, I even enjoyed the songs. And I love when the song that you're expecting to hear in Willy Wonka. I don't want to spoil it, but it is pretty cool when it happens.
Endorphin asks, how close are we until movie releases in 30 years theaters come completely obsolete and they just release the films through stream? They have to find a true profit way of profitability where maybe the dollars for production goes down in order to justify it because let's say Rebel Moon costs for both movies about let's say $200 million a clip because it looks like about 150 $200 million movie. I'm not even sure with high retention and audience levels from Netflix, I'm not even sure if it's going to be a break even for them. It's just so hard to totally ignore the theaters with a big budgeted film, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think that the theaters are going away anytime soon. I mean they're in trouble. Yes, I do agree with that. I don't think that they're going to come back. Even this year, I don't think 2024. I don't think that they're going to come back the way that they were pre-COVID. But I do think that they are getting closer, and I do think that that is eventually going to. We are eventually going to get back to pre-pandemic kind of numbers.
I
So
will say though, before we head on to the break, and then of course, again, for our listeners on audio and radio, it'll be none other than Don Fobbs talking about her best of, absolutely her best of pop culture, aka television, her best of television for 2023. Want to go ahead and mention again some of the things that have surprised us over the holiday season is Percy Jackson, The Color Purple, Godzilla minus one. But I also wanted to mention something that Disney Plus, yet again, has thrown out over the holiday season, and that is Marvel's What If Season 2. I have seen the first 6 episodes of Marvel's What If Season 2 as I talk here today, and I'm pleasantly surprised that it's actually better for me than Season 1. Your
really,
thoughts on this? I'm kind of disappointed that they just threw it out there, because this was pretty good. It's a pretty good watch. I know Marvel's had a really rough year, but to throw this just at the back end of the year, seeming like they just, like Echo next month.
Right.
They're just going to throw all the episodes out on Echo in one day, and there you go. It's
Yeah.
just like they're not treating it as something special. What if they treated so much better the first time around in season one? This time around, it just seems like they're just going ahead and say, "Hey, here you go. Here's some extra stuff. Happy New Year."
Yeah, no, that's definitely how it seems. It definitely feels like it was like your final pass to make something happen in the year is kind of how it feels. I'm excited though to know that you're enjoying it better than the first season of What If, because I
It
think
was mixed
yeah, I
in
think that
the
you
end.
and I both had episodes that we really liked, but episodes that we were just like, why did
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to sit down and eventually do that. It's going to be after I'm exhausted from Baldur's Gate, but I will get to it eventually.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid view. I really enjoyed my time with it so far. It seems to be more consistent on the level of writing. I have there's not one episode that really just like, oh, that's great, and then the other ones are not are disappointing. This has just been something about as far as the overall consistency of it. I see that they had a lot more time to spend on it. I know that the first season they had a little bit issues here and there as far as some episodes being cut out and some issues there. This time around, it looks like it was much better laid out, much more well laid out, and hopefully it's going to be end up doing well, despite the fact I'm not exactly in love with them not really promoting this as something that they could go ahead and end the season off or end the year off for Disney Plus. I'm just kind of, yeah, just kind of didn't.
Are
Not,
you
I think it deserves better.
sure? Are you able to confirm if Robert Downey Jr. was back as for voiceover?
He was not in there. They've got most, not all
Right.
of the actors from the Marvel universe. They didn't get all of them, and Robert Downey Jr. is not that was not in there. He's not in either season of Marvel's What If, which is kind of disappointing. But
It
you
is a
know,
little, yeah.
but I do say that I was disappointed more by Annette Bening in one of the episodes having the opportunity to play a character in there, and she declined to do so. I was hoping for her reunification. This tells you how old I am between her and Michael Douglas on screen, because the last time around it was actually a good. That's one of a good love story slash rom coms for me is the American President movie that they were in together so long ago. So you know that was just me, just would have been nice to hear them on screen together again. But
Yeah.
it is what
Yeah.
it is. But it is
We all
Marvel's
have our
what
things, Gerald.
we all have our things. But Marvel's What If season 2 is pretty solid watch. Go ahead and check it out. By the time you hear this, or by the time this gets go out there on podcast and radio stations out there, it will be already up and running as far as all the episodes. So go ahead and definitely check it out indeed. But before we head on out, I do want to mention something that Lifted asked real quickly before we head to the break. And that's Gerald and Melinda. Did you hear about Amazon's announcement yesterday that Prime members will now see ads on their media streams, whether it's TV shows or movies, even if you're a paid subscriber, which you have to be at Amazon Prime? Your
Yeah,
thoughts
you're
on that, my friend?
it's going to cost you another $2.99 to avoid that. According to the email that actually I was actually just reading and received right before we went to air. So I'm still catching up on some of it, but yeah, it looks like it doesn't matter if you have your Prime right now and you're able to watch TV and music and all of that stuff. Then you're just automatically going to start seeing commercials. But if you kick up the extra $3 a month, then you're going to get rid of the commercials. I am telling you, in the future, mark my words, you'll be able to tell the rich from the poor by who is forced to watch commercials.
Yes, I
I'm
hear you
telling you.
indeed.
Yeah.
But if they bring me a Mass Effect, you never know.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
I'll sit through. I'll sit through it. But to answer the last question before we head on out, Endorphin, what are the best underrated movies available on Netflix right now? Oh yeah, Netflix will do the same. Yeah, I mean they have their own ad layer and level, but they'll do that on all their other tiers as well at some point in time. Yeah, you can count on it, Blue Magic. You can count on it. But before we head on out, Netflix seems to be the hot topic. And the last question is, what are the best underrated movies available on Netflix right now, either old or new? I'm going to tell you right now, The Raid, Redemption, and also The Raid 2. Raid 2 was okay. The Raid Redemption is one of the best action movies and kung fu movies of all time. The sound on that movie, the music, the score, the action, the choreography is just absolutely fantastic. It made stars out of the stars from that movie. So go ahead and check that out. The Raid Redemption. It is leaving, I believe, pretty soon. Either that or the Raid 2 is leaving Netflix here at the end of the month. And then also as well, all the Mission Impossible movies from 1 to 4. Go ahead and check them out. I did a rewatch in the past week on Netflix with all the Mission Impossible movies 1 to 4. So go ahead and check that out as well. Melinda, anything else on Netflix? Maestro's okay. I thought Maestro was good. Carey Mulligan is
Yep.
outstanding in that movie. Bradley Cooper's good. It's okay. And then Rebel Moon is okay as well. But any thoughts, Melinda, on anything on Netflix before we head on out?
The Beverly Hill Cop movies are on there now, so go ahead and enjoy
Wonder why.
those. Yeah, there's a
Could it be
little
because
something
there's a
headed
certain
our
Beverly Hill
direction.
Cop movie that got a teaser here the other day?
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's also very exciting. But if you haven't already, watch Blue Eyed Samurai. It is a show. It's not a movie. I know that doesn't quite fit the criteria, but do that. Blue Eyed Samurai. It's so good. Definitely adult though. So if you got the little ones, be mindful of the episode that you're watching.
I
And
have seen the series,
oh, it's so
and I'm
good,
holding
right?
my thoughts on it to tell you at
Oh,
another time.
really? That's
I'm,
so that is you are a mean man, Gerald.
I
You are
teased.
a
I
mean
teased.
man. But another show that we enjoy, and you did get a new season in 2023, so I'm gonna say that it counts, and that is Scissor 7. It's another anime show, and it's about a guy who kind of the thing happens, he forgets he's an assassin, and he goes to an island that just happens to be populated with former assassins. Hilarity ensues, some goofiness, and some truly special, really wonderful, heartfelt moments in the show too. It's really good.
Well, definitely looking forward to catching some of that on Netflix. If you have some thoughts out there on Netflix or anything in pop culture, please let us know at the Pop Culture Cosmos or popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, or put your question or comment below after you see this right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos on YouTube. Well, my friend, it's been great having you on once again. I know you the twitching, the withdrawals,
Yeah.
stuff that's going on in regards to
Mhm.
Baldur's Gate 3. We'll let you get back to Baldur's Gate 3, but I want to hear next week your entire thoughts on the best of pop culture for 2023 on next week's show. Does that
You
sound
got
like a
it.
deal?
Sounds fantastic.
All right. Once again, it is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. Catch her and Robbie Ross, a guy who we got to get back on for some Warhammer talk on Vampires and Vitae, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. And of course, the Wizards and Wine right there with the Wild Beyond a Witchlight, all that she does, and her new projects coming up in the new year. Go ahead and check out everything that she's doing. It is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. It's me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again so much for watching, listening. We'll see you on the flip side. What's Melinda's socials? It's just Vampires and Vitae. I'm going to type it in right there.
Yeah,
Vampires.
you can find us Vampires and Vitae and Wizards and Wine as well. We'll connect you.
Yes, Vampires
Yeah.
of Vitae and Wizards and Wine. There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, just look for that on YouTube right there, and it'll get you going indeed. Melinda, thanks so much. I truly
Of
appreciate you
course.
stopping by. I know you brief time because you have to get back to Baldur's Gate 3.
Gosh, yes.
Yes, but we'll be back for those listening on audio with Dawn Foss with her best in television for 2023. But Melinda, I will see you next week in 2024. Thanks so much, everyone. Be safe and Happy New Year.